Okay, so random question before we even start today.
Uh-oh, random questions from Mary are never actually random.
Fair. Okay, when was the last time you were genuinely bored? Like properly bored? Nothing to do, phone away, just sitting there with your thoughts?
That's actually a harder question than it should be.
Right?
I genuinely cannot remember. Like, I can remember feeling understimulated at work meetings, but that's different. My phone was always right there. I'd be scrolling within 30 seconds.
Same. And I think that's actually quite alarming when you sit with it.
Is it? I mean, boredom feels bad. Isn't it kind of good that we have ways to avoid it now?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, because I think the answer is genuinely no, and the reasons why are fascinating.
Okay, now I'm curious. Welcome everyone, by the way, to LeapTalk English. I'm Albert, and this is clearly Mary's episode today.
It's always my episode. I'm Mary, and yes, today we are talking about boredom, which sounds dull, which is kind of the point, but actually turns out to be one of the most interesting conversations happening right now in 2026.
Because people have basically stopped being bored.
Almost completely, and it's worth asking what we're losing because of that. So, as always, we're keeping this in natural B2 English. Just listen, follow the conversation, and let your English grow as we talk.
We've also got our word tour at the end, where we break down some of the vocabulary from today's conversation, so stick around for that.
And hey, genuinely curious about this one. When was the last time you were bored? Leave us a comment. We'll read them.
All right, let's actually get into this.
So, the thing that got me thinking about this was I was waiting for a friend at a cafe. She was running about 15 minutes late, and I noticed something strange about myself.
You reached for your phone immediately.
Immediately, like there was no gap between sitting down and opening Instagram. 0 seconds of just existing without stimulation.
And what's strange about that exactly?
Well, think about what would have happened 20 years ago in the same situation. No smartphone, no iPad. You'd just sit there, watch people walk past, let your mind drift. Maybe think about something you'd been meaning to think about. Maybe think about absolutely nothing.
Which sounds honestly kind of peaceful.
Doesn't it? But here's the thing. We've been training ourselves to find that peaceful nothingness unbearable, like genuinely uncomfortable. There's actually research showing that people would rather give themselves a mild electric shock than sit alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes.
That can't be real.
It is. University of Virginia study. They gave people a choice. Sit quietly for 15 minutes or press a button that delivers a small electric shock. A surprising number chose the shock, multiple times.
That's genuinely wild. Like we are so uncomfortable with our own minds that pain is preferable to quietness?
For some people, yes. And look, I'm not judging because I don't think I would have done much better if I'm honest.
No, I mean, me neither. It's just confronting to realize that. Because we talk about self-awareness and mindfulness and all of these things as if we're making progress, and then you hear a stat like that and you think,
Exactly. And what's interesting is that this isn't just about comfort or discomfort. It's about what boredom actually does for us when we let it happen.
which is what? Because I think most people assume boredom is just empty, like nothing is happening.
That's the misconception, because when neuroscientists started studying what happens in the brain during boredom, they found something really unexpected. The brain doesn't go quiet, it actually becomes incredibly active.
In what way?
A whole network of regions lights up. They call it the default mode network, and what it does is extraordinary. It starts making connections between things you've experienced, between problems you haven't solved yet, between memories and feelings and ideas that have been sitting in separate places. It starts kind of unconsciously doing some of your best thinking.
So boredom is basically when your brain catches up on itself.
That's a beautiful way to put it, actually. Yeah, it's processing time, integration time, and we've basically eliminated it from our lives.
Which means we've eliminated that unconscious processing.
Right, and I think you can feel the effects of that even if you don't name them. That feeling of being somehow scattered, like you have a lot of things happening inside you, but they're not connecting properly. Like you're taking in more and more information, but making less and less meaning from it.
Oh, I know that feeling. It's like information overload, but also, strangely, intellectual emptiness.
Yes, like you've been filling the container, but the container never gets a chance to settle, so everything just kind of sloshes around.
That's a good image.
Thank you. I thought of it just now, which ironically is the kind of thing that might not have happened if I had my phone out.
Ha, fair point. Okay, so what about creativity? Because I've heard people say that their best ideas come in the shower or on a walk, which are basically boring situations.
Exactly right. And there's a reason for that. The shower, the walk, the long drive, these are all situations where your hands are busy, but your mind isn't fully engaged with anything, which means the default mode network can fire up, which is when those random seeming connections happen. The shower idea, the solution that arrives while you're not looking for it.
Which explains why the more stimulation we fill our lives with, the more we feel like we can't think clearly or come up with new ideas.
And I think a lot of people are feeling that right now without quite naming it. There's this sense that something has gone a bit flat, that thoughts feel thin, that there's a kind of mental fog that doesn't lift even after rest.
And scrolling more definitely doesn't fix it.
Scrolling more definitely doesn't fix it. Scrolling more is basically pouring more water into a container that can't process what it already has.
So, what do we actually do? Because I feel like telling people to be more bored is going to go down about as well as telling people to eat their vegetables.
Yeah, just be bored is not compelling advice, but I think the more honest version of it is protect some unstructured time, even small amounts, not meditation necessarily, not with an app and a timer and goals, just unscheduled mental space.
Which could look like walking without headphones,
Yes.
or sitting on a bench and literally just looking at things.
Yes, and feeling weird about it for the first few minutes because your brain is going to scream for stimulation.
I've done this. It's uncomfortable, and then something shifts.
Right, and that shift is interesting. That's the default mode network warming up. That's the processing beginning. And some people describe it as a kind of coming home to themselves, like, oh, there I am.
Which is kind of profound, actually, that we need to be bored to find ourselves.
Or at least to hear ourselves above all the noise.
And I think the lesson is less about productivity, even though creativity and problem solving do improve, and more about the quality of your inner life, the richness of your own mind, which, if you're never alone with it, kind of atrophies.
Like a muscle you never use.
Exactly like that. And I think that's the thing that worries me most about where we're heading. Not that people are distracted, but that distraction might be quietly hollowing out the part of life that's most distinctly human, the inner world, the daydream, the wandering thought that leads somewhere unexpected.
That's well said, and honestly, I think that's worth protecting, even if it means sitting with a bit of discomfort sometimes.
Okay, I'm gonna try it this afternoon. Phone stays in the bag for 20 minutes.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Fair. All right, let's do the word tour. I'm actually excited about this one.
Same. Let's go.
First up, understimulated. If you feel understimulated, it means you're not receiving enough interesting input or challenge. Your mind feels underengaged or flat.
Like, she felt understimulated in her job because every task had become completely routine and predictable. Or, understimulated children often find their own forms of entertainment, which is actually healthy. Repeat, understimulated.
Understimulated. Good one.
Next, default mode network. This is the name scientists give to a set of brain regions that become active when you're not focused on any specific task, when your mind is wandering or at rest.
For example, research shows the default mode network is crucial for creativity and self-reflection. Or, daydreaming activates the default mode network in ways that deliberate, focused thinking does not. Repeat, default mode network.
Default mode network.
Next, stimulation. Stimulation means something that activates or excites the senses or the mind. It's the input that keeps your brain engaged.
For example, modern life offers constant stimulation, which makes genuine rest increasingly difficult. Or, children raised with too much stimulation sometimes struggle to self-entertain when external input is removed. Repeat, stimulation.
Stimulation.
Next one, atrophy. When something atrophies, it gradually weakens or decays from lack of use. It's often used for muscles, but works for mental abilities too.
For example, if you never practice sitting quietly with your thoughts, that capacity starts to atrophy, just like an unused muscle. Or her language skills began to atrophy after years without using them. Repeat, atrophy.
Atrophy. Really useful word.
Right? Next, unstructured. Unstructured time or activity has no specific plan, goal, or schedule. It's open and undefined.
For example, experts suggest giving children unstructured playtime rather than filling every hour with organized activities. Or, she protected 2 hours of completely unstructured time each Sunday and found it transformed how she felt by Monday. Repeat, unstructured.
Unstructured.
And last one, integration. In the context of thinking and memory, integration means bringing different pieces of information or experience together into a meaningful whole.
For example, sleep and boredom both seem to support memory integration by giving a brain space to process what it has taken in. Or, genuine understanding requires integration, not just memorization. Repeat, integration.
Integration.
And that's your word tour for today. 6 really useful words that all connect beautifully to what we talked about.
And hopefully, some of those words will stick, especially if you let yourself be a little bored while you process them.
Was that a joke or genuine advice?
Both.
I'll take it. Thanks everyone for listening today. This is Albert.
And this is Mary. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.